was lying in bed there. Um, woke up about 7:30, got up and made a cup of coffee, went back to the bed, and yeah, the dog sleeps down in the corner bed in the end of the room, and every time I get up in the morning, I usually make coffee and go back to the bed for half an hour. And then he comes up then and stretches himself on the bed. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep in the bed with me. I won't let him, and he doesn't like it because I kicked him out of it when he was a little puppy, and he's remembered it ever since. And but he sleeps. He sleeps with the partner, with my partner, no problem at all. When she comes round, and yeah, two of them take over the whole fucking place. Anyway, I was down in the bed, and as you do in the morning, or as I do in the morning, anyway. Stuff I be feeling into me where I'm at in my body, and you know, just landing more fully into the body after coming out of sleep. And I like to take that time, and I've been doing that for years now, you know, and it helps to ensure that I don't lose any way through the day, you know. Mm. But anyway, so and a memory came back to me of a conversation that I had some years back of another friend. Maybe this this meeting the last day. The previous post video was about the meeting the last day with this other friend has got started a chain in any way. But yeah, so here I was down in the bed, and this idea came up about a chap I had bumped into, as I say, another friend, and it's a good few years back now, and he too, we met while we were both moving, if you like, in very similar circles, and that's how we met. We never really knew each other that well, but when you move in certain circles in certain ways with people, and different groups, organizations, things like that. Um, People, or it seems to me anyway, people tend to feel that they know you better than they do, and vice versa. But anyway, not to waffle too much. So I had stepped away, as I always do. I had stepped away from this particular circle of friends, because that's been my rhythm, you know, since this process activated itself here, um, and yeah. So I've always, it's always been that I'd step in and I'd step out and step in and step out to various different types of, let's say, support networks and different tools and devices, and to that I'd be using to help me find my way, as I've shared a couple of times. But anyway, so this was one of those occasions where I had stepped out again from a particular circle of people, and as I always do, I always step in without explanation, and I always step out without explanation, and that's the way it works for me, And so this particular individual, when I bumped into him, we were both doing a course at a local university at the time, actually, and that's how we happened to have more regular contact on any given day than we ordinarily otherwise would have had, you know. And anyway, I'm going around the houses, but yeah, uh, but so and I'll get there. So we had this. So I bumped into him in the cafeteria one day, and large cafeteria, just on the campus, and he remarked that he hadn't seen me, amongst the circle of friends in quite some time, and yeah, and it was all jovial in the beginning, but I could sense, as we all can if you're tuning in, that there was a tension in the man, and that tension, it seemed to me, was not, was there was something in him. It seemed to me, because I know what this is like myself, to be in that place in any given day where I have stuff going on and I'm not really in it. You know, I'm halfway between in it and halfway between me and me the story in me fucking head. And when I'm in that place, I can want to project it out, and I have done on many occasions, and I'm sure, unless you are all saints and enlightened Buddhas, you can relate. And I haven't met any saints yet, nor enlightened Buddhas, so I should be on solid enough ground for now. Anyway, we'll see how we go. So yeah, yeah, and it felt to me, that that's what was happening, and yeah. So the conversation took away that he hadn't seen me within this particular circle of friends that I mentioned, and yeah, and when people talk, like and we sort of half expect, the we half expect the other person to follow our lead, or vice versa, and that's understandable, like, but for me, more often than not, like, I don't have that much to say, says he, who's making videos here and talking, debate the band, but in interaction with people, like, I don't have all that much to say generally, and I have to confess, most of the time I just play the game, I know that might come across as a terrible thing, but it's the truth, Now, I try to play the game in an honest way, I have the crack, but when it comes to those more intimate, you know, sincere and authentic connections, where the only thing that's real is what's happening right now, and a certain amount of vulnerability is necessary in order to occupy and inhabit that space, if you like. Um, I think that for me anyway, and I think that most of us, that this is the sort of richest and most fulfilling way of being in the world and of interacting. And, you know, so anyway, in this conversation, as I say, it felt to me that whatever, that this person was not in their own day willing to occupy the space, and it felt to me that, the narrative, let's say, this is just me, I'm not saying it was this way. I can't, look inside anybody else's head, and so who knows, However, um, it felt to me that, yeah, he was just about to try to offload his shit onto me, Might as well just cut through the chase, and so, as they say, I kind of braced myself, because I wasn't going to run away, like, and God knows, lads, and who couldn't relate? I've plenty of running away done, but on this day, I said, fuck this, I'm just going to stay put, and I'm going to ride this out, whatever's going on inside me, I'm just going to ride it out, I'm going to do my best not to fucking, if anything gets triggered or all the rest of it, I'm just going to do my best to not put it back onto the chap, and see how this fucking baby, see how this thing fucking rolls out, And well, anyway, so yeah, so that was it, and it was clear that there was an antagonistic spirit in the man, at that time, and that's okay. I know all about fucking antagonistic spirits, because yeah, for sure, So anyway, but what I'm eventually getting to is that you know. And he kept pressing the issue that he hadn't seen me within this particular circle, and that something that I had said did not line up with something else he had heard me saying previously some months ago within this particular circle. And I remember, it's probably, it's interesting how images of old events return to us. I think I probably said something to him like, well, Jesus, I can't even remember what I fucking said 5 minutes ago, let alone 5 weeks ago. But never. The point I'm getting to is that there wasn't going to be any attunement between us. Because for attunement to occur, both parties have to come home first and foremost into what's actually occurring in the felt sense in the body. And from that place, drop out of the natter in the head that is attempting to make me feel safe and secure. But it's a false sense of security. And yeah, actually the only kind of security, psychological security that there is a false one. So it's a false sense of security, and the only answer is to feel, to drop in out of the head and into that vulnerable space, between you and the other person, and then the possibility of a field can open up where attunement, can begin. And then in that moment, that there isn't two people, there's just one movement, it's just one thing. But that wasn't that wasn't happening on this particular occasion. And yeah, so the as I say, it felt to me he wasn't getting down past the neck, and I can relate to this. And so I stayed with my own shit as best I could, and because I'm not very good at this now, and I was far less good at it then. We're talking maybe 10 years ago, perhaps. Anyway, so eventually, when it was clear, that he wasn't getting the feed, his pain body, as I like that term that Tolia uses about pain body. His pain body was becoming more and more activated. The less and less I was feeding into the shit, like mine or his. And yeah, he wasn't going to go down without a fight, and I wasn't fighting him. So he was going to end up eating himself in some shape or form, because that's what happens to us, and I can relate to it. It's happened to me so many, many times, and it will happen again to me. But on this occasion, I was somehow managing to just stay with my own shit. And then when all else failed, he lurched forward, and I mean, we know this. It's good to look at people in sincerity, but it also can be used as a violent act, and to intimidate and to almost energetically push yourself onto the other person. And so that's what he attempted to do, and it didn't work. But anyway, and he said, I'd be fucking worried about you. He said, I'd be worried about you. And this is a very common. Holler that we do. I've done it myself. I've done it in other ways. I haven't done it quite like that, but I have other manipulating tactics that I can use when I'm when I'm not fully in my body, when I've listened too much to my head, when I've run off on a story, I've got activated, and all me self regulation has gone shot to shit, and I'm not willing to stop, come out of my head, feel the vulnerability that it takes in order to come back home into the here and now and back to fucking sanity, like, you know, because it doesn't take long. But if I'm not willing, then yeah. So this is what was happening, and I remember it well. And this is a long way around. We're eventually there now. This is what came to me in the bed earlier when the dog was sleeping at my feet and snoring. He's fucking snoring. He getting older. He's fucking starting to snore. Last night he was hours. I swear to God, it was like a train in the fucking bedroom. Anyway, uh, uh, we get so as I say, this is what came to me. This is what came to me. While I was having my tea, or the coffee rather, down in the bed a while back, and so I turned to him and I said, after he lurched forward, last fucking final fucking assault. And he said, I'd be worried about you, he says, and I said to him, Jesus, I said, there was a pause. And then I said, Jesus Christ. But the thing is, it come from a good place too, you see. But I said, Jesus Christ, man. I said, why would you want to be doing that to yourself? You know? And that is the question, isn't it? You know? Now I'm not talking about worry for a sick child or a missing child or problems and situations in people's lives where we have very deep and real bonds and ties to people, where terror and all forms of fear and understandable anxiety arise when these bonds are unexpectedly threatened in any shape or form. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the worry being used as a psychological tool to manipulate other people, because we're at the notion of worry. I'm worried about you. And it's a very common thing we put out there, and I've experienced it so many times. As I said, it's not one I've used. I can be a trickster like everybody else, when I'm not willing to own my own shit. It's not one that I've used other ones. I've used other ones. I can be as sneaky as they come as well. We all can in our subtle ways. But this was just interesting. This one about worry. And it's a common one that I've heard used actually within these particular circles that I engage in. On and off throughout my life. And as part of a support network to help me to find my way, as I said, and I like that, and it works. But it's important as well for me to notice in myself what doesn't work. And to be honest with myself about the people, places, and things that are turning up in a way that is not sincere. I need to be able to fucking be honest with myself about that, and for me, sharing it in a space like this is extremely beneficial. And it seems to integrate everything that little bit more and more and more all the time. Because this thing is never over. This thing's ever over. Each day new. I think we wake up, I know I do anyway, and that's it. You get you get to go at it again, and anything that is hidden in you or pushed away, it will come. If not today or tomorrow, it will come, and because everything will have its say. Everything in our experience that has been pushed away will have its say in some shape or form of other. If I don't learn on a daily basis, be open and willing to learn on a daily basis that it's that how to feel it in the here and now in my body, then it will find its expression in some other form. It will pop up in the shape of a person. And that's interesting because, and that happens so often, because that person in that same respect would have, it's way too long ago for me to precisely remember the configuration of my life at that time. However, you can be sure, you can be sure that that person was put in my path on that particular day, not only to show me how not to be, but to bring up in me something that I was pushing away in myself. So you see, this is a, you know, this is not about blame or pointing fingers, and it's taken me forever to learn that, just for today. So I wanted to share that on a Saturday morning. I've gone on for over 20 minutes now, but that's okay. So yeah, I can hear the dog munching away there now. That's always a good sign in the morning. That's my cue. If I'm not out of my pajamas by the time the dog starts eating, I'm starting to drag my heels. So on that note, I hope everyone has a good weekend, whoever you are and wherever you are. And yeah, Icarus Landing, trying to stay landed in the body just for today.